Joined by SABC acting political editor Sophie Mokoena. Thanks very much for joining us, Sophie. Is there any particular reason, before we get into things, why Mr. Zuma's case has been moved to Pietermaritzburg and not remaining in Durban?
The judge indicated that for logistics, it would be wise to have this court case in Pietermaritzburg, where you have better facilities and also better space for people to move around. I think he is of an opinion that Durban court, it's not big enough, or perhaps it doesn't have facilities. This is a huge case with many people attending the court case inside and outside. Therefore, you need a proper venue or place where people can be able to go on with their business without any interruption.
Absolutely. Mr. Zuma has just spoken to his supporters. What was the thrust of what he had to say?
Well, typical President Jacob Zuma. For those who have covered President Jacob Zuma, he's very consistent, playing a victimhood. I'm a victim of political fights. Secondly, saying that I'm innocent. Nobody has got a proof that I am corrupt. Yeah, that was President Jacob Zuma, and also ensuring that his supporters continue to support him because they feel aggrieved. That was the message, but also a very strong message to Dr. Blade Nzimande, the SACP General Secretary. You recall that during the media briefing where the General Secretary of the SACP read the statement of the Central Committee. The Central Committee was very strong in terms of what they alleged or have observed, that perhaps some of the instability and perhaps those people who are currently planning to start a political party, they are doing this in the name of President Jacob Zuma, and he must come out clear to kind of distance himself from such activities. But he was very, very angry. He was very strong, saying he's not head of state anymore. He doesn't have to be diplomatic. He's going to call people, for what they are, and threatening to divulge sensitive information, and so that the South African public and the world in general could get a better sense of who they are. But the question is, how far true is perhaps the information that he has, or how far he can go in terms of divulging such, because it's not the first time he has made such threats. If you recall, even in 2009 when he was in court, he said the same against those whom he felt that were against him, and particularly those who were supporting the former president of the Republic, Thabo Mbeki. So it's not new. That's former President Jacob Zuma. I have known since a journalist and have covered his story. He's very consistent. But yeah, that's politics.
So there was a huge crowd out to support him, and some of the politicians that benefited under his leadership were there. Faith Mutambi, and of course the Northwest ANC chairperson was there as well. Des van Rooyen, and the list goes on, Sihle Zikalala. So a lot of people out to support him. What do you read from that support?
Well, these are the very same people who supported him, some of them, in 2009 or towards Polokwane conference. People like Sihle Zikalala. Of course, a person like Supra Mahumapilu joined late. You'd recall towards Polokwane, Supra Mahumapilu supported Thabo Mbeki, but after the conference, rallying behind a leader, and since then has been a loyal supporter of former President Jacob Zuma. You have Andile Lungisa. You know Andile Lungisa, a member of the ANC in Eastern Cape, but he's also a council member facing a case currently. You'd recall he was granted bail a few weeks ago. You have people like Faith Mutambi, the former Minister of Communications. She has supported Zuma, and she is still supporting the former president. Des van Rooyen, he even indicated that when he appointed Des van Rooyen, people were quite concerned, calling Des van Rooyen Umlungwami, because he said that when he appointed Des van Rooyen, Many white people thought he's a white man. When they saw him, then everything changed. You have people like Carl Niehaus, the spokesperson of MKMVA, a man who has supported former President Jacob Zuma. Yeah, that was that kind of constituency. Of course, the clergy, those who supported him. You have business people, they call themselves Radical Transformation Forum. They were there. Yeah, and many others, and of course the former COO of the SABC, Sohie Mokoena.
Indeed. There's still a question about the former president's finances. What's going on there?
Well, you are aware that there is a kind of a query in terms of whether the state should pay for former President Jacob Zuma's court case. The argument here is that he is alleging in the court papers that they reached an agreement with the former president, Thabo Mbeki, not one-on-one, on behalf of government, on Mbeki's administration. The legal advisors, law state advisors, advised the then former president and cabinet that they can make a commitment to pay for his legal fees. But the argument there is pay his legal fees on private matters or issues that are related to the state. Secondly, whether if he is found guilty, should they continue to pay? So there's an argument there. And the current administration under Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, they've indicated that they will respect the agreement that's there, but the DA and the EFF took the matter to court because they are arguing that these were private matters, nothing to do with the state. Therefore, now they are waiting for the court to make a ruling on that matter.
All right. And then let's quickly move on to the United Nations Security Council. South Africa is there in a bid to try and get a non-permanent seat there. The vote is today. What's your expectation?
Well, we're getting it. It's just the numbers. You are aware that this will be the third time. We were there under Mbeki, we were there under Zuma, and now President Ramaphosa. We're getting it, but you know, it's all about, you want to demonstrate support. You know, we often say the power is in numbers. Previously, we got good support, and even now, the current administration under Cyril Ramaphosa and Minister Sisulu, they would want again South Africa to come out as a powerful force in terms of getting the required numbers, but going further to demonstrate that we have the whole world behind us. On the continent, we are guaranteed, we are actually a candidate for the continent, or a candidate for the continent, and there's no question about that. But to get other regions to support us, I am pretty sure we will get the numbers from the BRICS countries, from Asia. I'm confident that we'll get numbers from other countries, Cuba and those Venezuela and them. But to get more numbers also in Europe, I'm not so sure whether America will stand with us.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's a slam dunk for us. Thanks very much, Ms. Sophie. That was our acting political editor, Sophie Mokoena. After a short break, we have more news for you.